Beneath the calm surface of our oceans lies a world that might as well be alien. Down there, beyond the reach of sunlight, the sun fades into memory. Colors die one by one. Pressure builds with every meter until it could crush steel like paper, collapse submarines like tin cans. And yet, something is moving in that darkness. Something that glows with its own cold light. Something that hunts with patience, measured in hours. Something that waits in the void for prey that may never come. Tonight, we dive into the silent abyss, into a world that has existed for hundreds of millions of years, largely unchanged, largely unknown. Take a deep breath, fill your lungs completely, because we're going down, and we're not stopping until we reach the bottom of the world.
Imagine you're floating at the surface of the open ocean. No land in sight. Waves rock you gently. Sunlight warms your skin. The water is a comfortable 24 degrees Celsius. Everything feels safe, familiar. But as we descend, every single meter changes the rules of survival. The first few dozen meters, this is the sunlit zone. This narrow band from the surface down to about 200 meters is where 90% of all ocean life exists. Here, sunlight still penetrates. Phytoplankton drift in vast clouds. Coral reefs explode with color. This is the ocean we think we know. But keep sinking. At around 200 meters, we enter the twilight zone, a place where light is a rumor, not a fact, where the sun's rays arrive so weakened they can barely be called light at all. The water temperature drops sharply, from 24 degrees to 5. The pressure increases to 20 times the surface. At this pressure, your lungs would collapse, your eardrums would rupture. The creatures here have evolved eyes the size of softballs, massive organs designed to capture every last photon of fading light. Human eyes can barely function here, but something else can. Past 1,000 meters, we enter the midnight zone. Total, absolute darkness. No natural light reaches here. Not a single ray. The pressure has increased to over 100 times the surface, enough to compress water itself. Nothing familiar should exist here, nothing recognizable. And yet, life finds a way. Below 4,000 meters lies the abyssal plain, a vast flat desert of fine sediment that covers more of Earth's surface than all the continents combined. And deeper still, the Hadal Zone, the Mariana Trench, the deepest scar on Earth. At its lowest point, Challenger Deep, the ocean floor lies nearly 11 kilometers straight down. If you dropped Mount Everest into the Mariana Trench, the peak wouldn't even break the surface. At these depths, pressure exceeds 1,000 times the surface, over 16,000 pounds per square inch, enough to compress water itself. Nothing familiar should exist here. Our first encounter begins with a light, a single floating glow in the absolute darkness. It sways gently, mimicking prey, pulsing. The light creates a rhythm that draws the eye, that triggers the predatory instinct. It looks almost innocent, almost beautiful. Only when it's too late do you see the teeth. Rows of needle-sharp teeth angled inward like the bars of a cage. A mouth that can unhinge, that can open wider than the body itself. The anglerfish, one of the deep sea's most iconic predators. Females can grow to the size of a basketball. Their jaws are massive, hinged to swallow prey up to twice their own size. Once those jaws close, once those teeth pierce flesh, there is no escape. But that light isn't magic. It's a lure, called an esca, a modified dorsal fin spine. Inside that lure live billions of bioluminescent bacteria. The anglerfish provides the bacteria with nutrients. In return, the bacteria produce light through a chemical reaction, luciferin and luciferase combining to create a cold blue-green glow. The anglerfish controls this light with precision. It can make it pulse, flicker, dance in patterns that mimic prey. And in the absolute darkness, that lure is irresistible.
We have all heard the legend of the Kraken, the giant squid. For centuries, we thought it was a myth. Then, we found it. But the giant squid has a bigger, meaner cousin. In the freezing waters of the Antarctic, there lives a monster that makes the giant squid look fragile. The Mesonychilteuthis hamiltoni, the colossal squid. It is shorter than the giant squid, but it is much, much heavier. It is built for war. The giant squid has suckers on its tentacles, lined with small teeth. The colossal squid has hooks, rotating razor-sharp hooks that can swivel 360 degrees. Its body is a muscle. Its eyes are the size of dinner plates, the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, designed to see bioluminescence in the pitch black. This is not a scavenger. It is an ambush predator. It is the only creature on Earth that hunts the sperm whale. We have found sperm whales surfacing in the Southern Ocean, their skin shredded, covered in deep gouged scars that match the hooks of the colossal squid. Imagine the battle that takes place in the crushing darkness at 2,000 meters. A 60-ton whale versus a half-ton invertebrate armed with razors. We have never witnessed this fight. We have only seen the aftermath. We have only caught juvenile colossal squids. We have never seen a fully grown adult alive. We don't know how big they truly get, but the scars on the whales tell us they get big enough to fight back. The colossal squid is a known monster, but what about the monsters we haven't named? In 2003, Australian scientists tagged a massive, healthy 9-foot great white shark. They called her Alpha. She was the apex predator of her ecosystem. 4 months later, the tag washed up on a beach. When scientists downloaded the data, they saw something impossible. The data showed that Alpha plunged suddenly down the continental shelf to a depth of 580 meters. Then the temperature of the tag spiked. It went from 46 degrees Fahrenheit to 78 degrees Fahrenheit in seconds, and it stayed there. There is only one explanation. The temperature rise means the tag and the shark was inside a stomach. Alpha had been eaten alive. And for the temperature to remain that stable, the predator had to be huge, much bigger than a great white. The scientists estimated the predator would need at least 5 meters long and possess the speed to catch an escaping shark in the deep. Was it a massive cannibal great white? A pod of orcas? Or was it something else, something prehistoric that comes up from the abyss to feed? The super predator theory suggests that there is a tier of life above the great white that we simply haven't documented. The ocean is vast enough to hide a population of leviathans. We tracked one incident. How many others happen in the dark, leaving no data behind? We mapped the ocean with sonar. We skimmed the surface with satellites. But the creatures we talked about today, the spider crab, the bigfin, the phantom jelly, the colossal squid, we found them by accident. We stumbled upon them. If we can miss a 30-foot jellyfish for 100 years, if we can miss a predator that eats great whites for breakfast, what else is down there? What is swimming in the 95% of the ocean we haven't explored? Deep-sea gigantism is a rule of the abyss, and rules usually don't have exceptions. There are giants we haven't met yet. They are swimming in the trench right now, silent, massive, and waiting.
Next time, we are not leaving the dark. We're going to dive even deeper into the mystery of the super predator. We will look at the unverified sightings, the sounds, the disappearances. We are going to find the thing that hunts the great white. Subscribe to The Silent Abyss turn on notifications, because the deeper we go, the stranger it gets. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, you are not alone in the water.